So for one, there's a big trend in craft beer right now towards cans. They're actually the better vessel for the beer itself. So certain things ruin beer. One is light, another one is oxygen, are the two biggest proponents. Glass bottles, even brown glass, allow 5% of light penetration. Clear bottles is even worse. Green bottles is like 20%. So cans eliminate all that. There's no light penetration. And the other thing too is a can's like pretty much like a little mini keg. So there's no oxygen penetration in that at all, versus like any bottle, the cap is gonna have oxygen penetration, and then it gets worse over time. It's very much the perception, right, that and I think it's kind of like it's consumer education a little bit, right? So there's kind of this broad perception that like macro beers, like raw produced beers, the cheap beer that your dad drank came in a can, right? And then it's like, so now there's this whole like millennial demographic that is willing to spend more money on premium items and want better quality things, and they don't want the cheap beer that their dad drank, right? So, and there was also this big movement in craft where people were like, honestly, they're just like dorking out on it, like getting into it, and like, there's a lot to beer, if you guys ever look into it, but there was a lot of enthusiasts that were passionate about it, and I think that passion became kind of this like cool trend that people identified, and a lot of people followed it, right? They were like the early identifiers, and then the laggards and like kind of the adopters started to follow that trend of like, hey, like these guys are super into this is super cool. So back to the bottles and cans thing. So a lot of the really well educated like kind of beer geeks honestly recognized that the can was actually the better vessel to preserve the quality of the beer, and that is kind of what started the trend. And once again, like that kind of being like cool is like, oh no, if you're really cool, then that like this is really the best thing for it. The challenge to that was there was this, like I said, there was kind of that movement where like you saw that like their dad's cheap beer came in a can, so they were like, oh, I want something different, how do I stand out from that? And that's kind of when the bottle was really popular. Once again, this is all just like kind of my observations on the market, but that's kind of like my perception of it. The way Slow Brew's positioned itself is we're definitely a quality brand and a premium brand. Anything we do, we try to be bold and authentic and high in quality. So like Cali Squeeze, for example, one of the things that makes it different from other beers like it on the market is it's made with a real fruit puree, excuse me, hard to say that, fruit puree, actually from the California Central Valley. So it's a very real ingredient. It's not like a fake like extract or something like that. So premium ingredients, of course, to kind of justify the premium price a little bit, and authentic and different products.